Uzi Vert, Tasmania Show.
Tasmania Show.
Tasmania Show.
Tasmania Show.
Tasmanian Show.
Tasmanian Show.
Tasmanian Show.
You already know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Wagwan gang, back in this thing, and if you really gang, bang that like button. If you like the vibe, subscribe. If you don't have good energy, keep your ass inside. You're tuning into the Tasmania Show with Taz Tycoon, brought to you by Tazzy's Baddies, and today we talking about Lil Durk versus OTF Jam. So Lil Durk's trial has been underway. Y'all know he's been on a case for murder for hire. This shit is not looking good. Basically, OTF Jam has been basically saying that he's gonna just get on the stand and he gonna tell it all. And Lil Durk said in one of his songs, like, it doesn't matter what kind of lawyer you have if your man's a snitching. And I want to ask y'all a question straight up. Loyalty versus respect, right? People always say loyalty breeds royalty, but that doesn't always mean that. Like, loyalty can go as far as somebody's freedom. And when it comes to that, it's like you really can't pay for. It's like there's a certain price that people are willing to accept, but then it's just like, what is the price of loyalty for real? If you had to choose between loyalty and respect, what would you choose? Because right now, Lil Durk is on the trial of his life because of a situation with all these conspiracy. You got all these witnesses talking about him paying people to do certain things, but Trap Lord Ross was at the courtroom basically spilling everything about what OTF Jam plans to say about Lil Durk paying him $50K for his loyalty.
Federal courthouse after the Lil Durk hearing, and we just had some very, very interesting information about, possibly the most well-known alleged cooperator in this case, OTF Jam. Now, there was a crazy back and forth where they brought up a bunch of things about Jam. They said that the song Back Again was going to be used. And I'm not going to lie, I was happy to hear that because that's like one of my favorite songs. But obviously, in that song, he talks about, Jam got out that jam. I gave him 50,000. He ain't got to ask again. Well, they're basically saying that Jam is going to testify and cooperate and say that 50,000 that Durk gave him that he rapped about in Back Again, which bear in mind was made before King Von even died. But Jam is going to testify and say that he believes that he was given that money basically as like, as a kind of get, some kind of like future, as basically not like a prepayment, but basically like on the hopes that in future he might be able to do things for him. He might be able to slide for him. Now, what's crazy is that he's allegedly going to testify that actually when they were filming a music video, at some point, okay, this is absolutely crazy. At some point, all right, Durk and a bunch of the other members apparently confronted Jam in a bathroom. They took him into the bathroom, which is super weird, and they apparently confronted him, and they basically said, you moving too hot, you're going to get us jammed up, you got to be more careful about committing murders, and you're going to get the feds on us. Now, apparently that wasn't talking about the Pab murder. Apparently there's other murders, and it sounds like he's actually going to admit to the feds that he was doing all kinds of murders that haven't even been prosecuted by the sounds of it, not even related to this murder, and that he was basically a top hitter in OTF and for the Black Disciples, and that it was really that serious, and Jam was doing all that. So Jam's name came up a couple times. So another area where Jam was brought up, they basically talked about this federal freestyle, and they said that, it's funny because the prosecutors literally said, look, Jam wasn't known as a good rapper. He was known as a hitter, a killer for OTF. And for the Black Disciples, he was known as a Black Disciple hitter, and that's why he was put on this federal, ironically named federal freestyle, and that was basically as like, as a favor for Jam. They were saying that was almost like to solidify his place in the ranks of OTF and the dirt that he was going to or had already committed for the crew. And they basically said that apparently Jam is going to testify that he was in the federal freestyle, and that he basically is going to say that, look, he felt like if he didn't do the murder, if he didn't participate in this hit, that he felt like he wouldn't be included in these there's all types of sirens going on right now. It's crazy. That basically that they feel like Jam said that he didn't feel like he would have been included in all the OTF, things that were going on, these opportunities, if he hadn't participated in that murder. And the last thing I'm going to say is that they said outright that apparently Jam was recruited for the Lil Pab murder by Booney Mo, and they basically said that Booney Mo had said to Jam specifically that Durk, but referring to him as Blood, he wants to fly you out for this murder. And apparently that's all going to be testified to. That's
nasty work. Like, it just sounds so disgusting. Like, the streets is dead. Like, ain't nobody, like, all this street gang culture. That's why I always say, if you really gang, bang that like button. If you like the vibe, subscribe. If you ain't got good energy, keep your ass inside. We only banging Neapolitan colors and baddies over here. None of that gang shit. You ain't got to do nothing wrong. But it's like, when you think about it, right? His mans did 11 years. OTF Jam did 11 years. And when he comes home, he gives him $50K. That could be a year's salary worth of work, right? If he was out of prison, whether he would have been making $50K a year, who knows? People want to, you know, there's all different types of jobs or whatever. But it's like when you hear all the different things, they brought you into a bathroom and say you got to chill on the murders, and you feel like you got to do this drill so that you could stay down. But now when the heat comes, it's like, nah, fuck that. I did 11 years. I'm about to start singing. It's like, damn. There's so much different shit. You see the shit was going on with Tupac, Keefe D, and everything. But even just to get more into the case, it says proof that the conspiracy continued following SR's murder will be presented through anticipated cooperator testimony exhibits. For example, the government will seek to admit Exhibit 125, which is a text thread between a burner phone by Defendant Banks and multiple co-conspirators, including Defendant Wilson, co-conspirator 4, and co-conspirator 5. Specifically on December 25th, 2022, niggas is on Christmas, Defendant Banks sent a message and voice recording telling his co-conspirators that an affiliate of TB's reached out to squash the rivalry and ask for peace. Now, TB is from Quando Rondo, I think that's his name, basically to squash it. Defendant Banks told his co-conspirators he rejected the peace offering, stating, "I'm not hopping on the phone to squash a rivalry because this for Thing and Vaughn." Oh, God. Take the piece of the switch. Damn. Take that piece of that switch, referencing a machine like one used by the conspirators that killed SR on August 19th, 2022. A voice message Defendant Banks sent to his co-conspirators immediately after. This shit is nasty work. Y'all know when y'all get y'all iPhones and you sign up for these apps and you don't read shit? And it's basically just saying that, like, whatever you do in your phone, your Tesla, like, we're all operate, like, niggas is just giving up the evidence. Niggas committing murders and Teslas, like, it's not as, like it's not a big ass fucking computer. Like, you got your phone, like, y'all are signing up and giving out this information. But then on another song, I think Durk was talking about, like, if they ever crack my iCloud, but what does it matter? If you got Brian Steele, you got this amazing attorney. If your mans that did 11 years came home and you gave him $50K and he just singing like the choir.
Steady crying, huh? He steady crying. Feed him. Feed him. Get him up, bro. Get him up so baby mama get the tripping, bro.
You see that?
Feed
For my
him.
baby. That's really how y'all hold y'all babies, ain't it? I gotta hold my money like this. It's too much. Crazy though. Motherfucker be sitting up there doing all this. Sneak this and internet games and all this. Up some money. Do something. Like, we winning, bro. I can do it. Whatever it is I want to do, I can do it. Just buy what I want, do what I want. Y'all can't do that, bro. Goof.
Bro got out what?
You know that
How many you did now?
How many years I did it now?
Yeah. That's your last bit. 12?
12.
That boy popped out 12 years.
12 years.
So much money. We really was just getting in order to just figure out the lanes, man, boy.
This shit feels so good, man. 2 lawyers, man.
I tell him about the building you got.
He did 12 joints. You think that he really about to go back to jail again? And I'm not gonna hold you. 50K, like, money is money. That's not a lot of money in my personal opinion. And I'm not saying I can't quantify what Durk should have paid his mans. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just like, but to a hood nigga, it's like you just want to hold the money and then do all the extra stuff or whatever. And it's just like, but in reality, if you got kids and all of that, you burn through that money fast, and I'm not going to hold you. Like, when you want to show a nigga how to fish, not give him a fish, because he going to keep looking at you like, that nigga getting all this money, but I'm doing all this shit. It's always envy. It's always jealousy. It's always niggas talking too much. Like, niggas talk way too much. If anybody's read the 48 Laws of Power, law number 4 says always say less than necessary. It's too many fucking chatty patties out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about the nigga Dame Dash that was basically like, yo, no chatty patties. But that's what niggas is doing, and that's what's getting them jammed up. The lyrics, like I said, I don't know. It's weird between script writers. It's almost like, why does a script writer, what if there was a script writer out here just killing everybody, every horror movie, the nigga that wrote Saw? What if that nigga was out here really killing everybody? Now, I'm not saying the way that lyrics can be used against you, we got freedom of speech. The lines are a little murky, but what makes shit even more crazier, Trap Lord Ross was at the courtroom, and they're talking about using evidence from an interview. If y'all haven't seen the interview with 6ix9ine, Wack 100, and Akademiks, and they just, you know, in the song, Who Won't Smoke With Me, they say, Slap and Ron, I know they trolling me. Like, they're basically saying that they're going to admit this interview. No, Akademiks and 6ix9ine and Wack 100 are not a part of the case. But they're saying that basically this clip And in the 50K that he talked about on a song Back Again, I love that song Back Again, that this is all evidence to corroborate basically OTF Jam's testimony. But we're going to get into Trap Lord Ross talking about basically 6ix9ine and Wack 100 and that evidence being used.
Lil Durk's last hearing, and there was a lot of really big information that just came out. Now, I'm going to do a bunch of breakdowns of all the information, but I'm going to hit you with the craziest piece of information that came up first. I could not believe it. They brought up Wack 100 and 6ix9ine in Durk's hearing. Now, this is insane. So they were basically arguing over a certain exhibit and like whether or not it should be allowed to be used. And they pretty much said that there was a podcast clip of the 6ix9ine and Wack 100 interview that they basically wanted to use. The defense for Durk was fighting for it not to be included. And this is what's crazy. Now, look, before I get attacked, before I get in any trouble, like, I'm not saying Wack 100's a snitch or that he's cooperating or that he's part of this case. Same goes for 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine's not cooperating against Durk. He's not part of the case. But the interview between Wack 100 and 6ix9ine was brought up. The feds are planning to use it as evidence. Evidence of what, you might ask? They're saying that it is evidence that this podcast where 6ix9ine was talking his shit against Durk, talking about, yeah, slide for Von. You said that dudes were going to slide. If I die, we're boosting the murder rate. Dudes are going to slide every day. All of that stuff. They're basically saying that this was evidence that this podcast blew up. It was one of the biggest aspects of the Slide for Von campaign. The feds literally just said it themselves that 6ix9ine and Wack 100 on that podcast, that was like the all-star team of the Slide for Von campaign. They're saying that people, they were basically saying that, you know, they said that a confidential witness had claimed that Durk had seen the clip. Durk's defense were arguing, no, they hadn't said that he'd specifically been sent the clip, but he acknowledged that, you know, the clip was going around. The clip was a very popular, you know, element in the Slide for Von campaign that was going on. And they pretty much explained that, like, the confidential witness is going to testify that Durk either saw the clip or was aware of it, and that basically there was a conversation basically saying that, like, this whole 6ix9ine Wack 100 conversation was, like, very, very negative to Durk's mindset. It was a big part of why he wanted to go and Slide for Von. When people are saying, you know, they talking online about Slide for Von, I know they trolling me, that's what they were talking about. They're saying that this is one of the instances, this is one of the most famous and popular instances of people saying Slide for Von, and it was when 6ix9ine sat down with Wack 100 talking all kinds of craziness about what Durk should or shouldn't have been doing on that podcast. It was crazy. I can't believe it. I'm going to give you more breakdowns of everything else.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, on the internet, all types of shit. And it's crazy, man, because even that famous clip of when Act was talking about the Slide for Von, you know what I'm saying, like letting somebody trick you out. The internet and the streets, I feel like the internet sounds so loud. If you coming from the streets, if all you're doing is being on your phone, then maybe the internet is the streets to you. You got all these different people, these Adam 22s, and I'm not knocking anybody. All this, like, there was a lot of all this gang talk. From what I remember hearing about gang culture, like I said, if you bang that like button, that's all we banging over here. You know what I'm saying? Is that you don't talk. You know what I'm saying? And now that everybody's like Slide for Von, again, I love that song, Who Won't Smoke With Me? An amazing, amazing song, but who says that it can't be performative? Who says that it can't be theatrical? The timeline when it comes to certain things, like I said, we haven't, like, he's got an amazing defense attorney, but when they're saying that they're going to use lyrics and they're going to use clips, I think that that's a little weird to say that, like, oh, this is why he did it, because how you gonna say what made Durk real mad about a 6ix9ine interview with Akademiks and Wack 100? Just even them three sitting down right now, my God, that'll probably be one of the most controversial podcasts of all time. But we're gonna get into this clip that they're talking about using in Durk's court case.
They know the exact nigga that put a fucking 10 bullets in King Von and he died there by himself. Why nobody slid for that nigga? I don't see you on Instagram saying, yo,
first of all,
go slide for that man.
Listen,
y'all know what y'all saying? Yo, y'all want this nigga
I don't
to
know.
crash
I'm gonna be real with you.
No.
Hold on.
That's,
hold on.
You know
Wait, hold
if
on.
I didn't go hit
Hold
the
on.
nigga that kidnapped me,
Hold on.
why this nigga not shooting
Let
the
me
nigga that
be real
killed
with
King
you.
Von, nigga?
Let me be real with you. I
don't see you on Instagram saying, yo, Durk, go slide for your man.
I discovered King Von.
No,
when
I don't want
King
to talk
Von
about King
died.
Von.
So
Why
I don't
is
know.
Durk not sliding
I don't know no politics.
Slide on nigga kidnap
And
me?
listen,
why is this nigga not sliding on nigga?
well, how you know what they doing? Just because it ain't publicized on.
I am not gonna hold you. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. Niggas was upset that this Mexican rainbow-haired nigga was coming through Brooklyn, screaming blood, screaming Treyway, and niggas hated him. They hated him because he was open and honest about protecting him. This nigga got kidnapped, and I'm not justifying rats and all of that, right? But just like all that was going on, he had songs with 50, Nicki. He was on his way up. You know what I'm saying? But then that whole thing, so they were talking a lot of shit about how the fuck you put your niggas in jail. But the point that he's making, and I'm not justifying an eye for an eye or a body for a body, that's not what I'm saying. But he's like, where was that same energy? Because when Von got killed, it was disgusting. I'm tired of seeing, I'm tired of all the black men dying, but from on camera, you got fucking, rest in peace, P&B Rock, you got Nipsey Hussle. It's like they just, and then Von, his shit was nasty, dog. Like you see him swinging, like niggas ain't fighting no more. I wish that culture was relevant when drill got to his height. We talking about Chief Keef, somebody that ducked and dodged through that joint. You see G Herbo. Like if I don't even know who's the leaders of the drill right now, you got 5-year-old making gospel drill, but then you see shit like this, and then 6ix9ine is screaming, I won. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he's saying like, who is saying slide for Von? Who is saying slide for Von? That nigga got killed with his niggas, and it's unfortunate. They released the pictures of his body at the mortuary. Like this shit is just nasty work, man. Like I'm not jacking any of it. Like I said, man, justice is gonna be served. I want to know what y'all think in the comments. I always tell y'all, if you really gang, just bang that like button. If you like the vibe, subscribe. If you don't have good energy, keep your ass inside. You tune into the Tasmania Show with Taz Tycoon, brought to you by Tazzy's Baddies. Let's grow.
Tycoon running up the score, Tazzy's Baddies on the floor. And that ass is super fatty, call me Zaddy, throw some more. Super nasty, she a savage, slaughter fucker like a whore. Popping bottles, foreign models, Tycoon on the world tour. Shorty, what you bad for? Turn this to a hit-a-thon. Damn, all your bitches bad, tell them they can come along.